My name is Megan. You're watching Miss Megan Knits. I'm trying my best to be sort of quiet right now. That'll probably fade as the video goes on because I talk a lot and I talk loudly. That's not somebody knocking at my door. My mom is downstairs doing her steps with her Fitbit and it's rattling the door in its frame. But if I open the door, then my brother, who is sleeping in the room right there, and my dad, who is napping down the hall, will hear me a lot louder. So we're stuck with a little thud, I think. Unless I can find a way to hold it closed. Okay, let's take this pillow I'm sitting on. Ugh, this is not how I want the video to start. Ooh, there we go. Success! Okay. Oop. That was unprofessional. Okay, so where was I? Oh yes, let's start over. That's how I start all my videos. A lot of throat clearing and some hair fixing. I just got that part out. Hello everybody, my name is Megan. You're watching Miss Megan Knits. Links to everything I talked to you about today will be in the Ravelry description. Hello everybody, my name is Megan. You're watching Miss Megan Knits. Links to all the stuff I'm going to talk to you about today will be in the description box below. And I just wanted to make a note on Ravelry. I didn't realize this until I was editing my last video, that Ravelry has not been the most accessible place for very many people lately. From what I know, as of right now, it is still a problem. How do I say this? I want to make sure I am accessible to as many people as possible. I also know that we are a rather small community, which is nice. I don't mind it that way at all. But that kind of means two things. One, that means that if I list everything in the description below, every yarn, every needle, with all the stuff that's piled over here beside me, that's a lot. And because we're such a small community, I'm not sure that's going to be really helpful to as many people as it could be. However, I do aim to please, and there is the possibility that someone who cannot or will not, for whatever reason, access Ravelry will want information on the yarn. The good news is that because we are such a small community, the number of requests I'm anticipating isn't as high as it could be. So if anybody wants information that is on Ravelry and not in the description, and you want to talk to me about it, shoot me an email, message me on Insta, like get in touch with me some way. I have a list of different ways to get in touch with me. Pinterest is probably the worst way. I'm not on Pinterest all the time. I'm on Pinterest sometimes. So Instagram or email or YouTube private message. I don't know if that's a thing, but if it is a thing, I'll probably get it. Those are all really good. YouTube comment. Those are all really good ways to get in touch with me, and then I can get you whatever information you're looking for. Please don't feel bad about that. I have plenty of time on my hands, especially now that school is over. I submitted my final on Friday for my sociology class I'm taking, and classes don't start till September 8th, so I got plenty of time on my hands to be at your service, helping you with whatever it is you think you may need. I think that's it, yeah. I think it's the best way though, because instead of, for example, my crochet blanket project you've seen in a lot of past videos, you're going to see it again today. That's a lot of different kinds of yarn, and I don't think anybody needs to sift through the links to figure out what that shade of light blue is. Now, if you do want to know what shade of light blue that is, I can let you know. You can message me. You can get to me. It will be on Ravelry. If you do use Ravelry still, you would like to still use it. I still use it. I like it. But I understand not everybody can, so all up to you. But please don't hesitate to get into contact with me. I basically said that in a note in my description below. I hope people saw it. Nobody asked me for anything, but I take that to mean everybody got all the information they needed, which is also a wonderful thing. Okay, I get to stop talking about that. Look at my beautiful setting. Please ignore the ugly water bottle. I have some 4C energy drink mix powder in here. That may not be the best idea for me. Okay, may not be the best idea for me, but I was drinking it before noon. I have cut out caffeine after noon, mostly. But I was drinking it before noon and had to finish it, so there it is. It's currently 1 o'clock-ish. Look at where I am. So this was an unused corner of my bedroom where I used to pile a bunch of crap. And now it is a little knitting nook. I've got a bunch of pillows all on the ground. I have a picture of the knitting nook. I put it on Instagram. If you are on Instagram, head over there to see it. Or maybe I'll put it here, depending on what future Megan, who is editing this, wants to do. But anyway, it's got a stool, there's electrical outlet right back there, my phone is plugged into it right now, there's a charger cable running, like this. It's got a box down here, a cardboard box. It's a beautiful cardboard box. It's one of those ones that they used to sell at the craft stores. I'm not sure if they still do. And in it I have things like a notions case and a couple of pencils and a notebook and a calculator, like things I might need while I'm knitting. And then piled over in that corner, I usually keep a couple of knitting projects so I don't have to run around the house to find them. I have all of my knitting projects over there right now because I wanted to talk to you about them. And when I say knitting in this sense, I mean also crochet. I don't have any loom knitting today. I haven't had any loom knitting for kind of a while. Maybe I should get back into that, but anyway, I don't have any loom knitting today. I do have knitting and crochet. How was your week? My week was... oh my god. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, right, I was not sleeping. Like, and all the way up until Sunday now, so last weekend, I felt like more and more energized. I needed less and less sleep. I was less and less hungry. And I was more and more productive. Anybody who knows that I am bipolar knows where that goes. So, not a good place. Basically last Sunday, so a week ago today, I'm like, this is it. I worked my butt off, running errands and cleaning the house top to bottom and like everything until my body was screaming and everything in my brain was like, please sit down, for the love of God, sit down, and I could not. So I decided I had to call my doctor. Long story short, called my doctor Monday. He was on vacation and he still answered, so you know how bad that must have been. And then, yeah, I got prescribed a new drug. It has its own side effects. New drugs are scary. But I'm doing okay now. My mood's kind of come down a few notches, but not all the way down, which is good. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. So my apologies if this video is not quite my usual perkiness. I'm tired. I'm still not sleeping great. I'm sleeping better, but not great. And I've got new side effects to worry about in addition to the old swallowing thing, which still hasn't gone away. And that drug has crazy side effects and stuff, so it's not the first one you try. It is the 25th one you try, but not the first one you try, so think of me. Send me your well wishes. Okay, in the midst of that, all that, Bear has come over, my boyfriend, who I affectionately refer to as Bear. He has learned how to work the ball winder, and he loves it. Like, he set it up in the basement. We have like a couch and a coffee table and then the TV, right? And he set the ball winder up on the coffee table and just winds balls of yarn as we watch TV, like 4 hours. And I'm like, okay, I like ball winding. It's kind of soothing, but it's not that great, right? But he loves it. And he's asking me like, do you want anything wound? Do you have any balls you need to wind? I'm like, okay. So I gave him my scrap bins and said, here you go. You know, if you want to practice on something, practice on the stuff that I don't care about that much. Winds it all up, you know. So he is winding yarn and seems to really like it. So I'm glad for him. Okay, and then I did want to just, sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. I had notes for my intro because it's kind of a long intro. Usually I just do a quick intro, but this is a longer one. I want to talk about my Instagram. I have an Instagram, and I've been on there a lot lately. Posting progress pics of a lot of the stuff I'm doing. as well as like shots of, you know, cool places I'm knitting, or shots of, you know, like my knitting space I put up there. It's all knitting related. Very, very rarely, if ever, do I post anything that is not directly knitting related, and or crochet, or woven knit, or, you know, art related. And that's it. So go check me out over there. I also have a Pinterest, but I don't pin a lot. I'm not very active on there, so you're welcome to check me out there. And then my email is missmegan@gmail.com. And Ravelry, I'm 321tika. It's all linked. If you need it, it's linked, but I just wanted to kind of review that so that you guys could all get in touch with me. Okay, intro over. It's 11 minutes in. Well, not really 11 minutes, depending on how much I cut out. Okay, whatever. Intro over. FOs. I don't know if you recognize this lovely shawl I'm wearing, which might be hard to see. Let's see if I can move the camera. It might be hard to see, but here we have the gooseberry shawl. We'll take it off so you can see it better. I posted a post on Instagram with lots of really pretty pictures that Bear helped me take that I took of this shawl, or he took. I modeled it all. And so if you want to go over there, check it out. But I have all of the textures. This one's kind of hard to see. Still, I'm not loving that one. It's like a modified Swedish block. I made it all bigger. And then we've got linen stitch. So the watchtowers on the island. There's linen stitch for grasses. This is pebble stitch right here because they have lots of rocky beaches. Shells. This is the garter cockle shell stitch. And the other wing is the same. That's why I'm only showing you one wing. I have a lovely little reverse stockinette that I think looks a lot like sand. Arrowheads for flocks of birds, or a bird with its wings out, or whatever you want to call it. I thought it looked like birds. And then waves that go all the way around. So we got blue waves. It's all the same pattern. Figuring out how to make the waves turn the corner and do 2 triangles and a rectangle all at once was not easy. Definitely not easy. Okay. So this is my original design, in case you haven't been up with me since January. This is an original. The stitch patterns aren't mine. Well, this one is. The rest of the stitch patterns aren't mine, but I did adapt them, modify them to fit with expanding, like the triangles here. It kind of expands, so I wanted to make sure it works out that way. This shawl is made. What do I want to say about that? All I have in my notes is say everything, which is super helpful. Thank you, Past Megan. Oh, for the record, I posted on Facebook, like lots of people asked me for a pattern, and I'm like, I don't have a pattern. I just made it up. I have notes. Maybe I could write a pattern. People are like, yes, write a pattern. I'd pay for it. Okay, if I'm getting this much interest. I know I had originally said I didn't want to write a pattern because I was too socially anxious to deal with test knitters, but with everybody giving so much good feedback about the pattern, that gives me a little bit of encouragement. So I have to turn this into a pattern somehow. I have various charts and such. I have some shaping instructions. I have like pencil drawn fragments of charts that I edited. Like, it's a mess. So it'll be a while, but I will see what I can do. Hopefully I will be putting a video up at some point asking you lovely people if you'd like to test knit it. And probably put some stuff on my Instagram as well. Maybe also Facebook. I don't know. I'll just post wherever I think I can get people. So hopefully you'll be in the know if you're interested in test knitting it. If you're interested in not test knitting it but purchasing it, believe you me, if I ever get it up on Ravelry, it'll be all over this channel. You will definitely know. So hold tight for that if that's what you're interested in. So the yarn I used, is it in here? No. Is it in here? No. Okay, I had a tag. Hang on. in here. Oh wait, this is the needle I used. Start there before I get to the yarn. This is a 40-inch long, really anything 32 or longer would work. This is a 40-inch cord, not cord, but 40-inch needle, tip to tip, with a size 5 attachment on it. I am a pretty loose knitter, so a size 5 is pretty big, especially because this yarn was so thin. That's why you get such a drapey fabric, but if you would prefer some other type of gauge, it is a shawl. These are the yarns I used. If I can find the last one. Here you go. BC Garn Bio Shetland. I'll say that again. BC Garn Bio Shetland. It's 100% recycled wool in the colorways Flannel Gray, Pebble, Sheep Nougat, and Sapphire. You can see I used more of some than of others because this one that has the most was the very top panel. This one was the middle panel, bottom panel. So use different amounts, but these were all 50 gram skeins, and this is how much I have left over. Keep in mind that, again, this is a very thin yarn. This is like a very light fingering. I don't know how I can show that to you. There you go. It's a very light fingering, so if you are using a little bit of a thicker yarn, you'll have less yardage per skein, but I think this is a comfortable enough cushion for even just using a regular fingering weight yarn, and whatever kind of gauge you like, you should be fine. I'm telling you this like you're gonna be able to knit it. You can't until I read the pattern. That yarn breaks and it doesn't frog very easily, but it is really nice to work with. It's definitely a wool. It's not like a soft merino kind of deal like the one of the other projects I'm gonna show you, but it's soft enough. It's not terribly scratchy. It's just not really soft. So warm, snuggly. Was that all I had to say about that? Yes. I think so. I'm trying to find my next project. I think I left it downstairs in the basement, and I'm not walking down 2 flights of stairs and up 2 flights of stairs for it because it's not one of my favorites. Okay, yeah, so that is that. Show it one more time. I'm so proud of this thing. Posted on Facebook, got a lot of good reactions. I don't generally post what I make on Facebook because I save Facebook for like people I know in real life, and I'm sure they don't want to just see post after post of knitting stuff. But I did this one because I was so proud, and people loved it. I posted also on KnitPick's Facebook group Together We Knit, which if you're not a part of, it's a really fun group. There's some mild crochet in there, but most of it's knitting. And if you are a knitter and you want to head over there, it's run by KnitPicks, so a lot of the stuff is KnitPicks, yarn, and patterns, but not all of it. I posted this and got a really great reaction, so you don't necessarily have to be KnitPicks. And people post pictures of their projects, people ask questions about knitting stuff, like there's all kinds of cool stuff going on there, so definitely check it out. Put this back on. If I can remember how I did it last time. My hair's in the way, so I dyed my hair again, and I did it myself. Now, I'm not really experienced about dyeing my hair myself as opposed to getting it done at the salon, but because COVID, like here in Massachusetts, salons are open if everybody wears a mask, but you know, I want to be on the extra safe side, so I drew myself, and I got semi-permanent dye instead of permanent dye. What that means is every time I take a shower, I have to soft scrub the shower because the red hair dye gets all over it and it looks like somebody was murdered in there. And if you make the mistake of going, well, I'll do 2 washes before I scrub it, the stains won't come off unless you use a Dremel scrubber thing that my dad happened to have, and I had to like power scrub the shower. So, and then, you know, you go into Sally Beauty and they laugh at you and they're like, yeah, you don't know what you're doing. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, help me. They helped me get the right stuff to do it next time with a permanent dye, which is nice. And, you know, my hair's been red for about a year, so I know permanent dye is fine, and also it's just hair, it grows out. Saying it's like people are going to judge me based on my hair. If you've been around this long on my channel, you know my hair's red. throat sore from talking, not from anything else, but from talking. The words on that are ugly. They're not ugly, they're not dirty or anything, they're just some company brand. Okay, Monster Amigurumi. My next FO. I'm gonna put a picture of it here, if I can figure out how to put it over here instead of smack dab in the middle. My Monster Amigurumi, which I do not happen to have with me, even though I thought I grabbed it. It doesn't appear to be anywhere in here. I decided he was done with no legs. I think the last time we talked, he was done except for the bottom being closed. So I closed the bottom and stuffed him, put him away for a while because I worked on another project that I was much more excited about, that you will see I got a lot of progress done on. Didn't have any desire to come back to that monster at all. Like, zero desire. So I decided he was finished without legs. And he's done now. He's an FO. It's the not cheapskate, the lazy way to finish a FO is to just call it done. But it's done. The yarn I used for him, all scraps and bits and pieces. The blue that of his body is some cotton mill ends I got a long time ago. I think it's like a cotton polyester blend because it's not as absorbent as a regular cotton. Which is a little disappointing because then I can't use it for dishcloths very well because it's not absorbent. I don't know. Yeah, that's him. He has a squirrely Q red trunk. If you want to know that, just Google how to crochet a spiral. There are YouTube tutorials. I think it's something along the lines of make a chain and then crochet 3 times into every chain and then maybe do another round where you do something else. I don't know. You basically do a really giant increase and it just curls on its own, which is really cool. And then I stitched it out really well. It's a trunk. I think he's going into craft fair inventory. I keep talking about a craft fair with COVID. Lord knows when that'll happen. I've decided to shift my focus to knitting for those I care about instead of for a craft fair because we don't know when a craft fair is going to happen. Although I would be interested in, I don't know, I've toyed back and forth with the idea of getting an Etsy. I don't know if I'd open an Etsy shop or not. A lot of people on Reddit on the Etsy forum do not seem to like Etsy very much. But, you know, I wouldn't be taking it super seriously. It wouldn't be my main source of income or anything. It would just be something, you know, give me a little more income than I already had coming in, right? A little bonus. So any sale I made would be a bonus and not like a livelihood, which I think would take some of the pressure off. Not sure. I haven't even thinking about that. Okay, those are my FOs. We're moving on to whips. My first whip, well, I'm going to talk about the crochet blanket first. I am so excited about my second whip today, but we're talking about the crochet blanket first. I'm going to keep you in suspense. So, I have squares here. I'm trying to remember which squares you've already seen and which ones you haven't, because there are definitely squares you haven't seen. Like this one. This is my favorite square because Bear picked the colors. I crocheted it on the beach with Bear. He took me for a beach date, lugged my entire big crochet blanket bag with all the balls of yarn in it, all the way to a nice sitting spot on the beach. And we sat and watched the water and talked and listened to music, and I crocheted, and he picked the colors. And did the scissors. He was very proud of doing the scissors. I handed him the scissors. Can you keep track of these? You know, because I had to cut the yarn at the end of every round. And he took great delight in like snipping the exact right place. He was adorable. But he picked out the colors for this one, and I really like it actually. I kind of had like the idea that he could help me pick, because he can't really screw it up that bad because all the colors look good together, so it doesn't really matter. And plus, since it's in a queen size bedspread, no one's gonna be like, oh, that square is ugly, you know, because they're all together, right? But this one turned out really well. You can see they have this mustard color. That's a new color. I'm gonna talk about that in new acquisitions. But I'm trying to think. Like, this one's new to you guys too, I think. This one probably, oh yeah, because it has a new color in it. This one's new to you guys. This one. But yeah, so I'll tell you the story about how I came to buy more yarn for this blanket in a bit. I am using the Triple Puff Granny Square pattern by Elaine Ellisare. I don't know if it's Elaine, Elaine, I don't know, beautiful name. Ellisare. They used a fingering weight yarn and an appropriate size took. I am using a 5mm and worsted weight. Everything in this blanket is a worsted weight acrylic in a colorway that I think goes. And colorway. Yeah, colorway's right. I get so confused when I do makeup versus knitting with colorway versus shade. But this is colorway. So, in a colorway that I think goes. And they're all 100% acrylic, 100% acrylic worsted weight. Did I say that right the first time? I don't remember. 100% acrylic worsted weight. And a 5mm hook. So, that's what I've got. I did add new yarns. I'll talk about that in the acquisition section just so this doesn't get too long. And for my current square count, I know that I have 44 squares in the basement right now. 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52 with the ends woven in. 53, 54, 55, 56, 57 if you count the ones that don't have ends woven in. So that's how many squares I have so far. I'm gonna need 143 to make a bedspread for my queen size bed. This is gonna be a long Miss Megan Knits, I can tell, because I'm not even halfway through and it's been a lot of time. So I apologize, or if you like longer videos, you're welcome. Okay, now the thing I've been waiting to show you that I've been so excited about, that I've posted all over Insta because I'm also very proud of that one. It's also an original. I am making, I showed you last week the yarn, like I hadn't even cast on yet. I showed you the yarn. A pair of thigh-high socks for my brother, based on the video game character Kirby from Nintendo. Despite what my parents seem to think, Kirby is not a Pokemon. I did show you last week I made a stuffed toy Kirby, but it only took me like a day, so I wanted to do something a little more fancy for him. These are definitely more fancy. Let's pull this out. So let me get the needles out so you can see. I have one of these Knit Picks DPN holder things. They have a slot in it. I have the remaining 2 DPNs in there, but they have a slot in it so you can stick your project in there and it'll hold it without like things falling off, which is nice, especially when you have a lot of stitches. I have kind of a lot of stitches for the number of, or for the length of DPN I have. Okay, this is a sock. It is almost done. Like, I'm at the top ribbing, so it won't get that much longer than this. Keep in mind, my brother's 18 years old. He is legally a grown man. Okay, could be drafted. Not really, but I don't have a draft going on right now. But he could be drafted if we had a draft. And this is what he wanted. So let's walk you through it step by step. I did Judy's Magic Cast on at the toe. Increased to 56 stitches because he has narrow feet. He has weirdly shaped feet. I took a bunch of measurements so these fit exactly. Plain leg. This is a Kirby face duplicate stitched with Knit Pick Stroll. I wasn't thinking of using black, but then I needed black for the face, and I had a thing of Knit Pick Stroll kicking around, so there you go. This is my first ever time doing duplicate stitch. I think it came out pretty good. This is a heel flap and gusset heel. Why did I choose that heel as opposed to an easier heel to do toe up like a short row heel or an afterthigh heel? Because he, like me, has a very high instep, and those types of socks, I know from personal experience with my feet that are very shaped similar to his, it's like related or something. Wow. Afterthigh heel socks and short row heel socks do not fit my feet. The heels slide around, they get bunch up, they get uncomfortable, they just don't fit right. So I'm hoping that doing a flap and gusset will help with the fit. This is heel stitch on the gusset. This is of course all on Ravelry, but if you're not on Ravelry, for the heel flap and gusset I used a tutorial from Modern Daily Knitting, formerly Mason Dixon Knitting, Modern Daily Knitting, about, I don't know what it was called, just search Modern Daily Knitting toe up heel flap and gusset, and it'll come up. And what that will do is tell you not only how to do the flap and gusset, because I hadn't done German short rows in an age, and you have to do them for this kind of heel. Not only does it teach you how to do the heel flap and gusset, but it teaches you how to do the math for when you need to put it in, which is the hardest part of any toe up heel, is figuring out where to do the math. If you follow me on Insta, you know I had a mishap. I tried to do a different kind of heel. I miscalculated the length of the foot because I miscalculated my row gauge. So I did a lot of miscalculations. I ended up with a sock that was about 2 inches too long, which is basically a flipper. You cannot have that. That will not work. So I had to rip the entire heel back and tried this heel instead, and it works a lot better. The reason why I changed heel types, I was doing a strong heel, or a reverse strong heel, I guess, because of toe up. Now I'm doing a heel flap and gusset heel, is because I didn't so much care for the way the stitches looked when I picked them up with the strong heel. I don't know why. Usually I pick up stitches just fine for sock heels. This particular one looked not so great, and I didn't want to reknit the heel I wasn't satisfied with. I don't think it was the strong technique. I think it was me. I also think it was the fact that the book I used, the Sock Knitter's Handbook, which I use a lot, talked about doing the decreases right on the edge, like literally the first and second stitch of the edge is a decrease, and that makes it really hard to pick up stitches because you get like these knot things in them. Live and learn. Okay, now he has skinny ankles, so this is on purpose. This is rib at the ankle, so just a 2x2 rib. I did stripes. I did 2 different techniques to make the stripes look good, because the beginning of the round is somewhere in here. To make the stripes look good, I used the jogless stripes technique, and I used a technique where the first round of a new color, you knit the whole round instead of ribbing. And that doesn't take away the stretch of the rib. If I can do this properly, here, I'll put this over my shoulder. The rib is still nice and stretchy. The difference being there's no bumps, right? Where if you just do the rib normally, you get little bumps on the purl edges, and that's not the cleanest look. So then I moved to a curvy colorwork pattern that I designed myself. Hopefully this blumpiness will block out. It did when I did my swatch, so I hope. And then on the back, I did a gusset, so I could do the increases. So instead of having to increase evenly around and mess up my curvy pattern, I just did all my increases in the back here. I did them vertical stripes, and then when I had enough to put another curvy on each side, I did more increases and decreases, and then when I got to the top, the gusset's still in the same place, just a little bit less noticeable. And what's cool about that, okay, I designed this pattern. This top pattern is the honeycomb pattern from the book Up, Down, All Around Stitch Dictionary. This pattern, sorry. Not honeycomb, hexagons. Hexagon pattern from the book Up, Down, All Around Stitch Dictionary. I really like it. I did different background colors to keep up with my stripe theme, and pink around the outsides. And this right here is a 2x2 rib. I started the 2x2 rib in church service this morning, because, you know, I knit during church, not during prayer, but during like verse and sermon and stuff. A lot of us do, actually. I've been talking to some of the other ladies, they knit in church too. And it was just 2x2 rib. I wouldn't do something complicated, but I was doing 2x2 rib. And I mistakenly was like, oh, 100 is not divisible by 4, so I have to do, you know, this adjustment to make it work, and I fudged it. And then when I got back around, I'm like, of course 100 is divisible by 4. So instead of tinking, I just kind of fudged it again, and it'll be fine, he'll never know. And then I know for next time that 100 is in fact divisible by 4. That's 25. That's what a quarter is, Megan. Anyway, curvy sock. Super proud of it. Like, knit my butt off mostly on this. That's not true, I've knit my butt off on a lot of stuff. Mostly on this. Actually, these are the only whips. I have the FO's Gooseberry Monster, I have the whips, crochet and socks, and I have some future plans and some acquisitions that I want to talk about. So if you don't enjoy hearing about those, sayonara. Sayonara, bad. Goodbye. Goodbye. If you don't want to hear about that, no need to stay. I mean, I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying, like, if you don't hear about it, you don't want to hear about it. I won't be offended. Okay, acquisitions. Oh, wait, no, I do have a whip because I swatched this morning. So these notes are a little outdated because I did them yesterday, assuming I would do the podcast yesterday, and then didn't get around to it. Acquisitions plans. So I am starting I have officially started as of this morning with the swatch. My Christmas gifts knitting. If you are, okay, I'll just say, my dad. If you are my dad, please skip ahead a good chunk of time until I'm no longer holding up the tan knitting. I shouldn't say tan. Skip ahead a good chunk of time until I'm done, you know, I'm done. Because, I mean, I want to talk about it, and I don't think he watches. That's why I feel pretty confident telling him to skip ahead, because, like, he doesn't watch anyway. But I do want to talk about it, because if I want to knit Christmas gifts for a lot of people. I know I've talked in videos in the past about how I don't knit Christmas gifts, and I'm thinking that since it's August, I could probably knit Christmas gifts if I start now. I've asked my family, hey, what are you guys thinking about? What do you want to do for Christmas? I would love to knit you something. And my dad kind of came up with sort of a half-baked idea, and I'm like, great, I can run with that. My mom was like, I don't know, I have everything. I'm like, well, that's helpful. And then my brother's like, I don't care. And I'm like, okay, that's also not helpful. Like, I want some idea. Like, obviously you can't come up with, oh, I want this pattern by this designer, but maybe come up with, oh, I'd like a scarf, I'd like mittens, kind of guide me in a direction. I also had Bear ask his family, just to see if they want anything. My family is overwhelmed with knitted objects by this point. They don't want anything else. I got the feel for that when I asked them. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, his family isn't overwhelmed with stuff I've knitted them yet. So maybe I'll make them a gift for Christmas. But none of them have gotten back to me either. I have a great idea for the dog. I'll talk to you about that later. Okay, this first gift is for Dad. That's what I'm trying to say. The yarn I'm using is Lion Brand Woolies. And I am designing a hat. So I'm not sure if you remember. I'll link the project page in Ravelry below. I knit my dad a pair of fingerless mitts, or fingerless gloves. And he really likes them. So he asked me to make a hat to kind of match them. There are a bunch of reasons I don't want to use the same yarn. One is because to get that density, I had to use size 1 needles with that yarn. It was a very, very dense gauge. I didn't like that. And then another thing is that was 100% alpaca. No, it was 70% alpaca, 30% wool. So it was not machine washable, which is fine for driving gloves. Not so fine for a hat where you get oils from your hair, you get sweat, you know, whatever in it. So you want that to be machine washable. I want that to be machine washable because I do the laundry around here and I don't want to hand wash my dad's sweaty hat. So I picked Lion Brand Woolies. I've used this before on a hat and mittens for myself. I like those patterns too. I did the antler hat and mittens in the seafoam colorway. They're really pretty. But I really like the way this yarn works up. I like the way it wears. I like the way it washes. So all around good. Now, I did a texture on the back of Dad's mitts. The pattern didn't call for texture. The pattern was Dad's photography gloves. I don't remember the designer's name. It was a while ago. But I will link the project page. And also, you can go on Ravelry and type in Dad's photography gloves. And they're pretty much the only thing that comes up. She made them for her dad, too. So, I inserted the Roman rib stitch on the back because I wanted a little bit of texture. Really simple texture. I got it from the Satin Knitter's Handbook. It's in a lot of stitch dictionaries because it's not that hard. Just knits and purls. And I wanted, you know, if you wanted a hat to match that, I got a color that's sort of similar, and I'm going to do a swatch. Now, I'm thinking about this swatch still. Like, I did it, and I'm like, I gotta think about this. So obviously I swatched in the round because those are my floats. I'm a responsible swatcher. Look how much swatch that is. Okay, so the garter stitch came out really dense and beautiful. Now, he likes really, really dense knitting, like with no gaps between any of the stitches at all. So, you know, I have to figure out how to make a really, really dense swatch. And I'm feeling this fabric right now. This is the stitch right here. And I'm kind of thinking about, like, is this dense enough? I can kind of see through it still. A little bit. So, I'm not sure that's dense enough. These are size 4 needles. These are Knitter's Pride Zings. I don't like them. I don't like aluminum needles. But they're what I had. And if you do like aluminum needles, these are good ones. but I don't like limited needles. Anyway, I'm just kind of unsure how I feel about it, and I don't want to keep knitting the swatch until I kind of get a feel for, okay, this is the potential, or no, this is not potential. It's pretty dense, because this yarn calls for size 8 needles, I believe, and these are 4s. So definitely a lot smaller. I am a loose knitter, so that does impact things. I generally have to go down 1 or 2 needle sizes from what a pattern recommends when I knit just normal stuff. So this would be no different, but I'm thinking about it. I'm in the swatching stage. Once I get the texture of the fabric that I like, I'll measure the gauge and then figure out how to make the hat. It's designing a hat is not hard. Blueprint has a good article on it. I'll see if I can find it to link it, about designing a hat. That kind of helped me when I designed my first hat. And yeah, especially if you're only doing one size, piece of cake. But yes, that is kind of what I'm thinking. So that's my plan for that. I'm thinking that if that swatch still is not dense enough, instead of going down a needle size, because I have 2 skeins of this, I'm thinking of holding the yarn double. So going up to maybe a 5 and then holding the yarn double and seeing how dense I can physically get. I think I have plenty of yards to do that with. I bought 2 skeins instead of 1, even though 1 makes the hat just fine. I bought 2 skeins because I knew I was going to be swatching, I knew I was going to need extra for the density, I knew a lot of stuff, so thought ahead. Okay. Okay, that was technically a whip, because of the design whip I did swatch, so that's technically a whip. It's also a plan. Okay. Acquisitions plans. So I had for a long time, and by a long time I mean since September, so it's currently August, I had it since last September, a Joann's gift card for $25. And Bear's mom gave it to me for my birthday. She's very sweet. And I just didn't know what to do with it, you know? When I guess for a whole year, when I've needed yarn for something, I needed specific yarn, and Joann's just didn't happen to have what I was looking for. So I didn't buy it. I bought yarn, because, you know, panic. And I bought, well, one of the things I bought was those 2 skeins of woolies. And then I bought, not all this, don't panic, don't panic. This is all the yarn for my crochet blanket project, not necessarily just the yarn I bought. Most of this is stuff I've scrounged from stash that I think looks good together. This little insert bag is the squares and the crochet hook and the gray yarn that I need to find easily. This, which is the bag Bear carried on the beach for me, has all the yarn in it. Okay, let's see what I got. So one of the things I got was this, what do we call it? I think it's the Joann's brand, right? Big Twist, Value, 100% acrylic. Does it say a colorway? Light Rose. So that's one. I bought a lot of Karen Simply Soft because it was on sale for like $2.50 or something like that. This is Karen Simply Soft in Country Blue. This is Karen Simply Soft in Gold, I believe. Is it gold? I don't want to leave you astray. Gold. This is Karen Simply Soft in Bone. I haven't used this one yet. That one I already had. Making sure I'm getting all the new stuff in there, because I have gone through. Oh, this yarn was given to me. It was in my stash. It was in my stash as a completed, not a completed. It was just a big square, single crocheted up. Somebody gave it to me that way, and Bear unraveled it and did a lot of yarn ball windings. And I have this pink color, so it's new. And then we have yarn line. That's a yarn brand. They're all yarn brands, Megan. Lion brand Basic Stitch Premium in cream. Which is not a super good purchase because they have a lot of like vanilla beanish, creamish colors anyway that I could have used in my stash, but it was on sale and the other colors didn't seem to go. Is that everything? I think that's everything. Everything new, at least. Yes, everything new. So the other colors are on Ravelry. Oh, I gotta put these on Ravelry. No, I did already. No, I didn't. Yes, I did. I don't remember if these are on Ravelry or not. I gotta check, so I'll leave those out so that I can do that. So they'll be on my Ravelry page if anybody needs them. That was an acquisition. Let's put this over here. I'm just tossing stuff around. Okay. Joanne's gift card, new crochet blanket yarn, Woolies. Oh, Teasel the Hedgehog. What on earth am I talking about? This book, Bear bought me for my birthday in September that I haven't used. I sense a theme. This is Crocheted Bears and Other Animals 25 Toys to Crochet by Emma Brown. All these are adorable. I've held back. I like to think I've held back because I say DK and I don't have a lot of DK in my stash, but that's ridiculous because you can, they're stuffed animals. You just use air and weight and a reasonable hook and you blow them up and make them bigger and they're cute, right? But Noah has a dog who loves stuffed animals. My dog does not do stuffed animals. You give them to her and she shreds them within an hour. And by shreds, I don't mean like rips a hole in. I mean like they're in little tiny pieces everywhere within an hour. She has a great time doing it, but it's not feasible to keep buying all these stuff to clean everything up all the time. So she plays with hard rubber toys and like, yeah, balls. She doesn't do rubber toys or tennis balls either. She pulls the fuzz off them. She's so sweet. She never chews anything she's not allowed to chew. But if you tell her she's allowed to chew something, she'll destroy it. So, Noah's dog, or Bear's dog, plays with stuffies and loves her hedgehog. So this is the pattern Teasel in her home. I don't want to reveal the stuff. So it comes with a house. I'm not going to make the house. But this is Teasel the Hedgehog. If you want to see Teasel, I have another image of Teasel. How cute is that? I wouldn't do, I would do baby safe eyes. I don't know what the rule is for dog toy eyes, you know, but I would do baby safe eyes just in case. So cute. Not only does the dog love stuffies and has a million of them, she loves hedgehogs. So, like, okay, quick whip up the dog at hedgehog. They love their dog more than anything. That gets me brownie points. And also, it's fun to do. So, and you get these hedgehogs kind of wacky colors. I've been thinking about what colors I want to make my hedgehog. So, I would like some opinions, please. Our first option is kind of a neutral option. We've got this kind of tweed over here and brown for the back quills part and this for the body part. Maybe another color for the legs, I don't know. They use a bunch of colors in Teasel. I would just use a couple. And then we also have, oops, I ripped the label on that one. Yellow for the body and purple for the quills. Cute, right? And then we have gray for the body and blue for the quills. Those are also cute, right? Like adorable. Adorable. If we did this one, maybe we could do pink feet, like pale pink feet. So I've got options. Lots and lots of options. And I am kind of excited to start, but not excited enough to actually start. I've got to work on the knitting the socks first. I really hope I don't get second sock syndrome. That was 2 weeks of sock. Granted, it was a thigh-high sock, but I don't want to get second sock syndrome with that sock and then never finish it. there we go. Just folding the label I ripped. It was a Karen 1 pound in sunflower. I ripped the crap out of the label. It's dead now. Okay, and ooh. Yeah, I think that's it. I was gonna talk about something else, but it's been long minutes. A lot of minutes. So I'm going to scratch that issue since it's not that urgent. Well, I'll just put the feelers out there. Okay. How do you all feel about sets of fixed circular needles? The reason why I ask is because I'm having issues with my interchangeables breaking. I think it's me. I'm like 99% sure it's me because I've asked on the internet, I've Googled frantically. No one else is having the same issue I'm having. I think what I'm doing is stripping the screws or threading the screws wrong when I put them in, and then tightening them too much and destroying something, and then they won't screw in properly anymore. It's the needles, not the cord, which stinks because the cords are easier to buy replacements for. I'm having that issue with 2 different sets of my Knitter's Pride interchangeables. It really sucks. And they're not every needle, and there are needles that used to work and then don't work, so I'm pretty sure I am screwing them up, and it is completely my fault. I don't want to say anything bad about Knitter's Pride. I like them. I've used their needles almost exclusively. These ones are breaking on me. Or the interchangeables are breaking on me. So what's the solution to this? Has anybody had this problem? Does anybody know how to fix it? Know how to prevent it from happening again? I do need to buy a new set of circulars now because I've broken so many of the other ones. And I'm kind of unsure whether I should just buy fixed circulars and be done with it. Interchangeables make so much more sense, but not if I keep breaking them and having to replace them. That doesn't make sense anymore. So, let me know what your favorites are. If you use a brand other than Knitter's Pride, let me know. I've only ever used Knitter's Pride interchangeables, so if you have a different brand that works better, you think, let me know. If you have a tip for how do I prevent myself from breaking my needles, let me know. Or if you have a favorite fixed circular brand, let me know. I'm looking for advice. I'm asking frantically for advice. I've tried on Reddit. No one knows. They're like, are you using the key to tighten them? It's like, yes, I am. Yes, I am. You know, they're very tight. They're just tight a 1/4 inch from where they're supposed to be, and it leaves a gap, and then the yarn gets stuck in them. I'm sorry. I think I'm messing the screw mechanism somehow, but I don't know how to not do that. That was it. That was it in a nutshell. I just talked really fast. Did it in 2 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in a future video.